All right, dear sisters, please, I want to remain anonymous. I'm a 46-year-old man with 3 kids. I have been a good father and husband, but I made a mistake and slept with my secretary and got gonorrhea. I have been treating it for a couple of days now, and until I'm done with the treatment, I can't have intimacy with my wife. She has been demanding for sex a lot these days, and I'm currently out of the ideas on why we can't have sex for some days. I cannot use protection because that is something we have never used before, and it will raise suspicions from my wife. As I'm talking to you, I promised her we will do it tonight, and I've been thinking about it and can't concentrate at work. Is there any medicine I can take that will prevent her from getting infected? Or any medicine to quicken the treatment? I know I've really messed up, but please help, 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 sisters, help. I've got gono. All right.
Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
2 things. It's either you lie. No, but you know what I like about him? I like the fact that he's actually protecting his wife. I like the fact that he's not being careless, because a lot will be careless, and then they even play that whole reverse psychology and where did you get it, or just be silent about it, and while she goes to treat it. You understand? But I really like the fact that he is very, very considerate in not wanting to infect her. So for that, kudos.
He seems
but for
like
the
a
rest,
good man, though.
Yeah, he seems like
a good man.
sensible
Yes. He's
man.
sensitive towards his wife. He knows the repercussions.
But he made a mistake. Why you say you made a mistake and slept with someone? Did you
mistakenly?
Why did you fall into it?
Exactly. And why didn't he use protection while he was out there?
Exactly.
Or that would have made it a lot more deliberate. Was he forced? Was he dragged into?
He said he made a
mistake.
So mistakenly slipped and fell into it.
he's owned the mistake. Like it was.
Yes, he's owned it. That's the only good
made
part.
the mistake.
But you see, a lot men have to be very, very careful these days. Even the HIV rate in Ghana has gone up.
Very, very
so
high.
we have to be careful the people we are, messing around with, because one, it could have been HIV instead of gonorrhea, and then what? You would not sleep with your wife anymore because then you are protecting her. You see, because even that you would find out only a bit later than gonorrhea, where you find out, I don't know, a few weeks or days after. So it's very tricky that he's done a thing like this without. Your first thought is whatever you're doing outside, you're protecting yourself, whether it's mistake or not. But now you did not do that, and now you put yourself in this situation where it's difficult to really advise.
I agree because it's tough to advise.
Yeah.
The reason being, he knows he's done the mistake. I don't want to bash him too much.
Exactly.
Because
At least he's admitted
that he's done the mistake, and now he wants to be protective of his wife, as in he doesn't want to infect his wife. However you look at it, sooner or later, because you're texting her and you're telling her you're going to be having sex with her tonight, and she's preparing, she's excited, she's looking forward to it. You not giving her sex right now is going to be a whole new Sunny. It's going to be a Sunny if you don't give her to, it's going to be a Sunny. And when you tell her the truth, or if you don't tell her the truth, either way, you still have to spill the beans some way, somehow, because it's not like, I don't know, it's either you withhold the information from her, which I would not advise, but you withhold it for as long as until you get treated.
But the issue now is he's withheld it for some time.
He's withheld it for some time. So that's what I'm saying. So it depends on how long you can still withhold it for. But sooner or later, you may have to come clean, because it depends on how soon I don't know how long
it may take up to 2 weeks for any pain in your pelvis or testicles to disappear completely. So let's say about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So which means that he's held it for a couple of days, not up to 2 weeks.
Yes, obviously.
So, exactly. So now what do you tell your wife? Because it's not like you're a woman who you can have your period, so you can tell her, your wife that I'm on my period. So it's going to be a tough call. You should either see yourself telling her the truth, telling her, one, you cheated on her. It's going to be a tough one. Two, not just did you cheat on her, you now have an STD.
Ew.
And three, you're actually treating it. And four, she's going to look at you very differently because it's not like you're carrying. Yes, you were not even responsible about it when you were cheating. So just know that she's going to be upset.
Yeah.
She's going to be devastated. If you went to cheat, it's one thing you going to cheat, but you've gone to cheat and you've now come back with an illness that she can also get. You've come back with an inherited negative stuff that you could give to her. So it's gonna be tough. Either which way. It's either you withhold the information and then
pray about it.
Maybe if she has a doctor friend, she should call his doctor friend to admit him in the hospital. That's one lie he could probably.
We don't want to.
But you see, then it's going to be lies. It's going to be lies upon lies upon lies. And you don't want that for how long?
So my thoughts are that I'm actually happy this happened to him. Because when it comes to cheating, some people think that once the lady looks clean, well dressed,
exactly,
and nice, checks, she's pretty. I don't know why they think that women like that cannot carry disease.
Yeah, exactly.
So they don't, think about it. But when you see somebody who is physically dirty, they think that maybe that person is the one carrying the diseases. That's number one. Number two, STDs, there are various forms of STDs. There are some that gonorrhea, especially women carry it, but it doesn't have an effect on them. Then the men are the ones who exhibit the symptoms. There are also some diseases that men carry, but it's women who exhibit the symptoms.
HPV.
Yes. So my take is that the lady may look clean, but apart from gonorrhea that you are expressing, you could even have another STD that you are a carrier of, but you don't know you are carrying it. And then you go and give that one to your wife. It's because of the painful urine and all of that. That's why you're exhibiting that. And I also want to find out, are you trying to tell us, because from the look of the story, it looks like he and his wife have a very active sex life.
So what happened?
If you can't stay away from her in 2 weeks, my question is that, what is the gestation period of gonorrhea? When you had the issue with the woman, does it mean that you never touched your wife until the gonorrhea manifested?
Exactly.
It's possible that you've already infected your wife and she's already carrying it. You are looking at the time that you started seeing symptoms as you've now gotten it. So there's a possibility that you have even already given it to your wife. Because if you have such an active lifestyle that you can't stay for 2 weeks without giving an excuse, then I'm thinking that at least every week, unless probably she's in that time of a month, or maybe some couples, even that time of the month is not even a stumbling block. So then that's what I shudder to think about. So I'm happy this happened to him. It's a reality check. And I'm hoping that based on this, he will not go and do something like that again. Number three, the person you cheated on your wife with, your secretary in the office. Now, if you are the business owner and she's your secretary, you need to fire her ASAP.
Oh, God.
If you work in a business where you can't fire her, you either talk to HR to take a transfer or maybe let her know to also take a transfer. Number three, have you also told her that you got gonorrhea from her for she can also get treated? Because if you decide to come clean with your wife, the fact that your secretary is still your secretary, it will not go away. It's a problem. The fact that your secretary is still your secretary, it means that whatever you are telling your wife will not go, it will not settle well. Because once you have crossed a certain barrier, you can always do it again. So if you want to come clean, if that's the route you want to take, you want to come clean, make sure that some of these things are in order, i.e. you've cured yourself, and you should also let your wife go and get checked, just in case you've already infected her before you started exhibiting the symptoms, or if there are any other diseases that she's, maybe this is not the first time she's cheated, but this is the first time he's gotten gonorrhea from cheating. So maybe bring yourselves to allow all of you to get tested. But by all means, know that what you did, going to sleep with another woman, especially unprotected, it doesn't only work against you, but against your family, even if you have children. Because assuming it was HIV you caught, then it means that your lives are affected. Not just physically or financially, but mentally.
Yeah.
And sometimes people go around having HIV. When they know, it kills them faster.
Yeah.
Because once they know about it, the fear of death takes them closer to the death.
Yeah.
So you may actually do things that will end up depriving your children of their parents. So it's important that when you are a married man, a married woman, and you want to do some of these things, think long and hard. Once you are married, it's not all about your pleasure. It's not about your satisfaction or the fact that you're a man or the fact that you're a woman you can do. It's about your family, the greater good.
Frankly,
So
it shouldn't just be even about when you're married.
When you're in a relationship.
Generally, as a person, look, life is so fragile, but if you don't take care of yourself, it's even extra fragile.
True.
Because some of these diseases, you keep catching it. You weaken your immune system also by being all over the place, catching all kinds of diseases when you could have prevented it. Aside from HIV, there are other ones that will even, you keep taking medication.
And I wanted to even touch on something. There's something called soul ties.
Yeah.
You see, let's get to the spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
On every level.
It's not every hole or socket or whatever it is that is correct.
Yeah.
Some of them you go and touch them and realize that you start going downhill.
Yeah.
Some too, it may not even, you know that sometimes some juices don't mix. One juice will not mix with the other juice. So when you put here and you come and put here, even though the person is not actively carrying an STD, the person may exhibit certain infectious diseases. You understand?
Sexual
so it's important. Yes, it's bad because
unacceptable.
The Bible says it is a sin against God and yourself. And it's because with this one, it's not just, you know, it's not like, oh, don't steal. You are committing an offense even against your own body. Because where you are going, you don't know what is there that you are going into. So it's important, like Sicho said, let's be truthful in our relationships. If you don't want to be in a relationship, I don't want to be. But if you want to be in it, especially when you have promised the other party that you're in a committed relationship, you are solely invested in that person, be committed. Yeah. There are some people who come clean. Me, I can't stay with one woman. So the woman knows that they can't stay with one woman. So when they go gallivanting, it's something that they and the woman, they've discussed. It's okay, that is their problem. Whether I believe in it, whether I buy into the idea, it's a different matter. But it's something that works for them. I will not be the judge. But by all means, don't stay in a committed relationship and be behaving like, you know, I'm happy he got this. It's at least, this should be a wake-up call. And this could tell him that next time it may not be gonorrhea, it may be something else, so that he can keep his pee in his pants.
Good luck to telling his wife who has been on giving him sex on demand. You know, some men complain, oh, my wife doesn't want to give me sex. My wife doesn't want to give me sex, so I'm going to go out. But from what he's saying, his wife is actually chasing him when it comes to sex, you know. And I don't know how he's going to tell his wife, because his wife will probably think that I do everything you want. What position do you want? I do it. How many times do you want it? Where do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? I give it to you. But still, you manage to go and do this and bring this home. It's going to be very devastating. Sooner or later, you will have to come clean to her, because what it is that what you're going to be piling up the lies, because now, okay, you're going to, assuming you don't want to tell her, you're going to have to hold on to it. Holding on to the truth is also some kind of lie.
Exactly.
So if I were you, honestly, and then the beginning I was like, okay, maybe hold on to it, but no, I changed my mind. Holding on to truth is some kind of lie. Tell her that, my dear, I am so sorry. Listen, if it means you taking the next 100 years to apologize to her, to let her know that you need to build trust again over time. You need to go back, do yourself right, ask God to forgive you, forgive yourself, and then speak to your wife, ask for your wife for forgiveness. Tell her you'll never do that to her ever again. And if there's certain things that you need to do at work to get rid of whoever it is, please do. But I don't think you're the first person that this has happened to, and neither would you be the last. There's nothing new under the sun, but there's a solution. So embrace it, deal with the consequences, but always be from a position of remorse. It makes a big difference. Shower her with gifts, assure her, reassure her, let her know you're sorry. Expect her to be upset, expected to be angry, expected to have mood swings, expect the worst from her. You have to be patient and build it all up from scratch.
Right.
Actually, that's such a good point, because if he decides to go on the route of lying, he could actually probably be reinfecting himself, he and his wife, back and forth. Because right now, like Rosie said, you don't know if between the time you did that and between the time you found out you had this gonorrhea, you have actually done something with your wife and she's contracted it. So the best solution right now is for him to confess and figure out how to resolve it. And one good thing about confessing in cases like this is it keeps you grounded in such a way that now you know that, hey, somebody is watching my every move, in that because you've broken that trust you have with them, you now need to rebuild it, and it keeps you in line to make sure you rebuild the trust with her and not do things that will put you back in. It's like people who like to smoke or do vices that they really don't like. They put checks and balances in place to avoid them doing it often, and that helps them to actually eventually stop. So the truth is his best bet at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the woman, the fact that he came and told her and not she finding out,
yeah,
it also softens the ground. And when a woman truly loves you, she will make noise in the beginning to let you know her displeasure. But
so you appreciate the truth.
No, when I'm saying noise, I'm saying that she would do the whole works to let you know how angry she is and how disappointed she is in you. But if she truly loves you and she sees true repentance, because I say that when you offend somebody and you apologize, beyond the apology, there should be obvious repentance. If you repent and the wife can see that, oh, she's repented and he's reformed, she would have a place in her heart to actually forgive him, and will probably never even mention it again.
And contrary to popular belief, women actually like the truth. They respect you more if you come with an honest heart.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, sisters. Thank you so much. It was really nice having this conversation, and I really appreciate you guys coming here. And yes, it's time for us to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be looking at my final thoughts. So the sisters have spoken. I mean, we've gone through the letters. The sisters have shared their thoughts. Now it's time for me to share my final thought. All right. So the first letter was about a man being frugal, stingy, and wifey not, comfortable about the whole thing. And wifey's asking us, what should she do? First of all, I am kind of like confused on how you have 3 children and it's more like you're just discovering that your husband is stingy. What happened to talking stage? What happened to courting stage? What happened to, early marriage? Didn't you see all that? 3 children, and you're just, I don't want to say you're just realizing, but you have kept this for this long. I feel like from the beginning there should have been communication. So if that thing happened, you probably kept it within you for this long. But if it bothers you so much, I think it's important to talk about it. Like I said earlier, I've been in that situation before, and I just had to talk about it, and things changed. And like Olivia said, he's probably not doing it intentionally, because it might be stemming from his upbringing, his growing up. So he might exhibit, depending on his upbringing, sometimes he might exhibit some, certain traits. And maybe it also stems from him not wanting to ever be broke. It also stems from him not ever wanting to be poor or something like that. So I think you need to have this conversation with him and let him know how it makes you feel. The most important thing is to have the conversation, talk about it. Talk about it with him. Let him know that this is how this makes me feel. And to others watching, if you're in a relationship, from the beginning, sometimes it's better to lay down, not your rules per se, but it's better to let people know who you really are and what actually bothers you from the beginning. This whole not pretending per se, but this whole being a new person when you're in a relationship with someone, or trying to look perfect, or trying to be so modest that sometimes you just, clamp down your own feelings and clamp down your own expectations, doesn't really work. And this is one of those situations. So from the beginning, I feel like there should have been conversations about it already. And since that thing happened, it's not too late. So you need to talk about it. You really need to talk about it. And he might have a big ego, but start to have a conversation about this whole thing. And now, secondly, with the second letter, about 46-year-old man with kids, married, and he mistakenly had an affair with his secretary and now has caught an STD, and has caught an STD, which is gonorrhea. Okay. I don't know how to help you, but I think the best thing you can do, I'm sure you're expecting me to say, okay, you need to hide, you need to lie, you need to probably go and fake it and tell a doctor to admit you in the hospital so your wife will not expect you to have sex or something. Sorry, she wants to have sex. She needs to have sex, but you cannot give her sex right now. And that is because you contacted gonorrhea from somebody else. Sir, what? You need to tell her the truth. That's all. That's the only advice I can give. You need to tell her the truth. You need to fire your secretary. And also, you need to stop cheating. And geez, why are you cheating without condoms? All right, that's it from me. Anyway, thank you to everyone who sent in their letters. Thank you so much for trusting that we can have a conversation about this. And I hope that those watching have learned something out of this. And especially with the last letter, it's important to know and note and have it somewhere in your mind. Always be reminded that STDs are not written on the face always. It's not written on the face always. Somebody might look a certain way, but the person might be a carrier of an STI or an STD. The person don't have to look dirty or look sickly before you say, this person is carrying something. No, sometimes it's actually the ones that look very sweet, healthy, are the ones that could be carrying stuff like that. So it's a lesson to everyone. But once more, thank you so much for sending in your letters. And if you're out there and you're wondering, how can I send my letters to Sister? All you need to do is send an email via sisterislife@gmail.com, and we will be reading your letter next. Thank you so much. And a very big thank you to our sponsors, Gino, because Gino truly cares. This has been Sister. My name is Chris Carter. See you next week.
Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.